First of all right, welcome to the Negotiation Club. So we have Tanishka and Annie who are going to do our negotiations tonight. 4 minutes to negotiate a satisfactory price per ton of apples. I have the buyer's card. So if I could ask Tanishka just to look away for a second. Or hide behind the book. All right, Annie, here we go. Here is your budget.
Cool.
Okay, and a tactic for you.
Okay, sure.
Okay, right, so Tanishka, you can look back. And Annie is looking away. So a break-even point.
Okay.
And a tactic for you.
Okay.
Okay. Right, Annie, you can look back. Fred, if you want to just turn off your screen for a moment. Right, so the purpose now is 4 minutes to negotiate and see if you can negotiate a satisfactory outcome for the price per ton of apples. See if you can practice with purpose those particular tactics as well. And then Fred and I will give you a review at the end. So I shall put the timer on. You have 4 minutes and your 4 minutes start now.
Hey, Annie, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, Tanishka. How are you?
I'm good. So what brings you here today?
Yeah, so me and my couple of mates, we've just graduated from university and was thinking of doing this apple pie business. So wanted to get a ton of apples to see it out and see if it works. I've seen that lockdown's easing at the moment. So this is what we're looking for. We have a budget, like the three of us put some money in the pot together, and it's around £300 each. So we've got about £600 in the pot to get some apples and also some other materials, for instance, like packaging and all that. And I wonder whether you'd be able to help me with that.
Perfect. So let me just reconfirm whether I've got your concerns correct. You are going to start a new business with your friends, and you are going to start apple pie business. Mm-hmm. And you have a budget about £600. Yeah. If I'm mistaken. Okay, so what services I can provide you in that range is keeping in mind you're a new business and we really look to promote for new businesses. I do have medium quality apples. Mm-hmm. So I think medium quality should be fine for you because they're going to get cooked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a good idea.
Yeah, so medium, I would suggest medium range, keeping in mind that I'm dealing with many businesses and mostly the pie bakeries take a medium quality, and that should cost you around £640 per ton. Mm-hmm. Which meets your range, which is 600 to 640. I think you can meet me there, and which meets your range to £640 per ton of apples. Mm-hmm. How does that sound to you?
The price sounds okay, but I wonder if we also was considering whether in terms of like logistics, whether we would possibly have to go and get the apples from where do you manufacture, or where should we get them, and also maybe because it's a new business, maybe like renewing our membership, maybe like a more long-term relationship if this goes well.
Yeah, we do have our loyalty card. So we do give a loyalty card to every customer we deal with. And if you want, we can have a long-term contract, but that also depends upon how much your business is running, because you just said you haven't started. So I don't think we can go into contracts now, but we can provide you with a loyalty card. It really depends upon how much you use it, and the points will help you get discounts later on. And in regards to delivery, mm-hmm. I think we do charge £40 delivery for throughout the UK. So within the UK, you get £40 delivery. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much it that we charge.
So with the £40, does that add on? Is that why it's 640 that you said?
No, that is an add-on to 640, so that would make it 680.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise Would we be able to maybe, if we come and collect it, would we be able to still get the original price of $6.40 or $6.30?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So if you come and collect, we'll be able to give you $6.40.
Okay, I think that sounds like a good deal. And
perfect. So let me just get it straight. So you want medium quality apples. You're going to come and collect it, and the deal is $6.40 per ton, and we're selling you 1 ton of apple.
Yeah, for now.
That sounds like a great deal. All the best for your business.
Thank you. Glad to see your apple soon. Yes.
Made an agreement. Fred, you should have green as the light behind you now. You know that, don't you?
I should.
Yeah. All right then. Well done. Okay. So again, 4 minutes. Lots going on. An agreement made in the end as well. Question now would be: is did we maximize the value? But before we do actually ask those questions, let me ask: what do we feel that the other party was practicing on purpose? Really important to think about that, I think. So Tanishka, what do you feel Annie was practicing as far as a negotiation tactic was concerned?
She did give a range in the beginning about telling me that she has a budget of 600, but I couldn't really point out a tactic that she was using consistently. There were many hidden ones, but I couldn't find out a consistent tactic.
Okay, all right. Okay, so actually Annie had pause, consider, and respond.
Okay.
Now, I actually do think, Annie, this is one you could probably work on, but, you know, we'll have a conversation in a minute. In that sense, Annie, what do you think Tanishka was practicing?
I felt initial would be summary, so like summarizing, because there were 2 summary points, so I'm not sure if that was the case. Oh, nice. Yay. I really like this one.
Yeah, okay. I mean, as a negotiation, when you had so Tanishka, you definitely purposely tried to summarize in there, which is very, very good. Interesting, actually, in the previous negotiation, you didn't use summarize. So the fact that you had been given this as well has made you think about it and do it. Now, summarizing a negotiation, hugely important. Okay, I always say to people, summarize, and it does several things. First of all, by summarizing, it tells the other person and demonstrates to the other person that you're listening, that you have heard what they're saying. Now, it also means that you're all on the same page. So you're checking the facts. So again, by not only demonstrating you're listening, but you're all on the same page. And the third aspect of summarizing as well is that actually by summarizing, you take an element of control in the management of the meeting. Because if you're doing that regularly and you're doing it correctly, the other party can end up relying upon you for doing that. So you end up gaining an element of, I guess, you know, maybe trust and respect because you're doing it regularly and you're doing it correct. So I like to think summarizing in a negotiation is a really useful, I say tactic, but it's actually really good practice. Now, the pause, consider, and respond, that again, I would say is kind of good practice. And the idea there is, instead of finding yourself jumping in and answering straight away with what you've been thinking, is just to slow it down, just to think a little bit more than you have normally thought through. So when you've heard something, before you respond back to it, maybe consider, well, okay, why am I hearing that piece of information at this particular moment? How should I best respond to that? You know, you're not under any obligation to quickly fire off a response. Slow it down, think about it. It also can demonstrate to the other person that you're listening as well, strange enough. Because if you are really considering what's actually being said by the other party and then you're responding really clearly to it, they know they're being heard as well. The danger in just quickly firing back is that sometimes it can also show that you've kind of not listened to some of the stuff because you've been waiting to get your point back over. So pause, consider, and respond. I think it's good practice as well. Now, in terms of what you, in terms of the ZOPA,
oh wow.
all right. And actually, yeah, so we had a very large zone of possible agreement. And this is what I sometimes wonder about the cards as well, is that you've got to try and think of each negotiation as a brand new negotiation. But it's very difficult not to be biased or to get influenced by previous negotiations as well. But when you've been doing this enough, you kind of know where the range is for the market with these cards. So you should be using that to pitch your numbers as well. Now then, Fred, any thoughts from you, sir, on what you've just heard? Any feedback?
Yeah, what a difference by just saying what at the very beginning. What brings you here? So you need to say, oh, well, I'm going to do this, that, the other, got some mates doing all this sort of thing. Brilliant. Bring it on. Keep talking. The more you give me, the more I can listen, the more I can then match up what I'm going to say and do, which worked really nicely. Great summary. Though I think you might have missed a bit of a trick. She said she's got a couple of mates and they're putting 300 quid in each. It's 900 quid actually, budget. She said 600. We've got a couple of mates putting 300 quid in, so that's 600. I've been like, no, it's 9. You know, even just to put that in, to then anchor that to put that price in, so actually you've got loads of budget. You just told me. Made it even easier for me. So I'd have got that. She said, no, I made a mistake. Okay, fine. But, you know, we know whether you did or not. Yeah. But, you know, either way, because you listened, you were then able to say, so the services I can provide are. Now that's really clever, because what you're doing is, rather than just starting to haggle over a price, the expression I often use, I say cake, well, let's use pie, is that you grow the pie. So what you're saying is, actually, you're trying to do all this stuff. Let me put more into this. Yeah. So what you did is then you shared your expertise. That's what a good salesperson does. This is the value of working with me. I get this stuff. I know what are the right apples for you. You're going to cook them. You don't need to go more expensive on this. So you're giving this value, this guidance. Yeah. And again, I appreciate we've got certain variables in here, but what a good salesperson will be doing is saying, and what I can do is, you know, we can look at maybe helping you with your menu. Yeah, we can sort of look at a bit of not going to give you it. We can look at, give you a bit of marketing support. We can look at this sort of stuff. So the more services you provide, the bigger that pie is, the higher your price is going to be. If she starts pushing back, well, okay, I'll take the menu support out. I'll take this out. I'll take this out. And we'll literally come back down to the ton. Yeah, so it's far easier to add more service in when you know what the whole backstory is, which was pretty cool. Now we know what the numbers were, so you both actually will be pretty good poker players, I reckon, because you didn't get all excited. Like, what's the deal? Let's just do it. Crack on. Yeah. 1 minute, we're done. You know, how does that sound? Again, great question. Yeah, check. That sounds okay. Then we had this logistics discussion, which it went okay, but it could have come back to bite you. You know, you got this agreement, it come nicely, and then you're pushing for this extra 40 quid on delivery. It could smack of being a little bit opportunistic. When actually, because we know the numbers, it's no, just absorb that, take it, let's deal with it, go for that long term, because you've been talking about the long term relationship stuff, and then started really pushing for this extra 40 quid, which it didn't come back and bite you. It could have done. That could have provoked an emotion which made somebody go, oh, yeah, I thought we got this, and now you're just trying to eke a little bit more out. So yeah, it's not great feedback to say what could have happened when it didn't, but you know what I mean. I'll just alert you to that. In the end, I always pick them up. It's fine. Happy days. So, but great. I'm so pleased that we did it again, because you see that learning point come straight into play. Yep, the numbers fine, but it just made life a lot easier, didn't it? A lot easier.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's cool.
I mean, and again, that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing, is, you know, try something and then bang, have another go and try and do something slightly different. I mean, it would be useful maybe is to keep the same tactics you had previously without showing what they were, to see if you can actually then do it again. You know, so lots of ways of actually practicing your negotiation skills, and this is just one way of doing it. Just to reiterate, Fred, yeah, the very first question, having an open question at the beginning, and an open question Yeah, that's really useful. Opens up a lot of opportunities to listen and to have that. And in fact, that's exactly what Tanishka, you were able to do. So not only were you able to summarize, but then use that summary to bounce off with some advice. You know, well, you don't really need the high quality because you're going to be, you know, cooking them, aren't you? And Annie was, yeah. You know, so she's bought in straight away. Okay, so it's medium quality, right? Okay. Well, you know, they're good for cooking, 640. Now, the only thing I would say is, why 640?
Just keeping the market price in account and everything. Like it also depends. I just put a number because she said 600 was her budget, and I wanted her to not give any excuse after that. So I know I want to, like, you know, when you put an anchor down, you know that the person should not be able to move much. And if she saying 600 herself, and that is way beyond my break even anyway, I just go a little bit beyond that. So if I say 640, and if she tries to argue and get me down from 640 to 600, I'll be like, come on, it's just 40. I mean, you can definitely do that. You have so many mates chipping in. It's not a big deal. And get my like price sorted out there.
I would probably just challenge you a little bit because you've done a few of these and you know the cards, and 640 is very much well inside what's possible from the buyer's perspective. So I would just say, look, it feels a little bit like you're buying comfort by not pushing the numbers out that far. Yeah, and I think there's two elements to that. First of all, you had such a low break-even point that maybe there was an element of not being greedy in your own mind, saying, right, 600, well, I'm already really getting a great deal. I don't really need to go much higher than that. That might be one aspect of it. And then the other thing is that when you came back at 640 off 600, if I was Annie, I'd also feel possibly a little bit cheated because, you know, maybe if I'd have gone down a bit further, you come back and push it a bit higher. Again, these might be just things you know, could think about and reflect upon as well. Because then when you got to the 640, it was like, okay, we kind of moved to the 640. So Annie, you didn't insist on the 600, which maybe you could have done as well. But I'm just interested in those numbers. Yeah, I got a feeling you may have been buying yourself some comfort there. You didn't want to have the hard pushback. And yet, there was a lot of scope. All right?
There was.
You're here to practice negotiations, and negotiations also means putting yourself into an uncomfortable position, only in the sense that it can feel uncomfortable because we don't like to get rejection. We don't like to feel as if we've upset the other party, but this is not about upsetting the other party. It's not about the rejection. It's about you negotiating the best satisfactory deal for your business. Annie does not know that you have got a break-even point there. All right, what she does know is she thinks that she's putting a really low ball number against her budget, and now she's wondering what you're going to come back at. So come back with a number and observe, yeah. Now then, the other things I would probably say is, yeah, I think, Annie, when you then got the 640, I'm almost wondering whether you got flustered with that because that wasn't such a big pushback, and therefore it's like, okay, then let's try and clarify about the logistics in that. So again, maybe you were expecting a bit more of a harder conversation to be had, and that ended up with the result of kind of not a very good discussion around logistics. And I think, as Fred said, it kind of opened up some opportunities from Tanishka there as well. Yeah, I don't think there's much more that I would probably add on to that. But again, nice summary at the end, Tanishka, because the whole point is you can now be clear about what was agreed. Medium quality, 640, 1 ton, you're collecting. Yes, bang, done. All right, so useful. I've seen so many people think they've got a negotiation and walk away without really having clarified exactly what they've negotiated. And at the end of it say, oh yeah, we've got a negotiation. Yeah, it was £600 and they're delivering it. And the other party's going, no, it wasn't. That's not what it was. It was like, oh, okay. So good. Summarising, very, very good. that's all I've got to add, because actually Fred did a great job before me. He's getting good at this. He's improving. I tell you. Fred's going to put me out.
Practice. Deliberate practice.
Absolutely. So just a quick one, Tanishka. Any thoughts from you in that final negotiation there?
I would just like to say that this was easier because we had a ZOPA. Like as soon as you said 600, I knew I had whatever I wanted, and then I was like pretty sure 640 is way under her budget as well, because knowing the cards, I think they start from 500, but if she's saying 600, that means it's somewhere around 700 or 900 category. So 640 is definitely in her area. So I just wanted to see how she reacts. And she went into discussing the logistics, which was pretty nice to negotiate on.
Okay, all right. Annie?
Yeah, same. I felt like it was much easier, and also actually kind of odd because like the moment she said 640, I was like, oh, is that it? So I thought about, oh, should we talk about something else to fill time? That's why I like put out something else. But yeah, that was good. Did definitely learn from the last one, because we also switched position, which means I could use the tactics that I saw from the last one, but then I didn't need it this time. So
okay, all right, very good. Fred, final thoughts from you, sir?
Oh, I think they've covered it all. We've mentioned all things, good learning points, applied it well, and you know, as trainers, we love that when we see people take something on board, use it, get a result because they've used it. Happy days.
Yeah. I'm just going to add one final point there, which is that previous negotiation, you were both outside of your ZOPA. You both felt not very happy with that negotiation. This time, you're all well inside your ZOPA and you felt really happy about that. I just be careful about that, all right? Because it's not necessarily about that kind of feeling happy. You're going to have to deal with those situations where you're outside and you're trying to bring it inside. So I just reiterate, don't buy comfort, all right? You are negotiating. And I say this, negotiation is problem solving, but with a twist. You're not just trying to find any old number. You're trying to find a number which maximizes value as well. Okay. Right. Thank you very much. All right. Keep practicing. I'm sure we'll see you again, and I'll wish you all the success in the future. Take care.